This is an appeal to Justin Trudeau, the Prime Minister of Canada, on behalf of the community that I represent in Calgary and the people that live in my riding. So, Prime Minister Trudeau, I've said this many times. Your decisions with regard to the energy sector have crippled our economy, have put thousands of people in my community in Calgary alone out of work. And this was prior to COVID-19. So Bill C-69, C-48. I can't tell you how difficult it was for my community and me to watch you ram those bills through the House of Commons because it devastated our community. Moreover, it just showed a lack of care and a lack of compassion for a huge part of the country that you have a job to represent. So going into the COVID-19 crisis, we didn't have a lot of resiliency because of those decisions that you made. The energy sector was already in a decline in Canada because we didn't have access to markets, because you vetoed the Northern Gateway pipeline. You bungled TMX construction. It should have been built already. You said nothing when President Obama vetoed the Keystone XL pipeline, and you silently cheered, I'm not so sure about silently, when Energy East was scuttled because of the regulatory environment that you created. So today, in the middle of the COVID-19 crisis, the people that I represent, they're going through something extra because they were already on the brink. Many people were already on the brink going into this. So the price issue that we're having right now that's been exacerbated by COVID-19, the really low prices for Canadian oil that we're seeing because of the Saudi price war, Russian price war, because of the lack of demand that every energy producing country in the world is seeing right now. Those effects are being felt so much more keenly in my community because Canada, you put us on this track that Canada, like, we're not competitive. We had no room to give. So that's why it is incumbent upon you and your government to support the energy sector right now. The people of my community are looking for you to do something. Your finance minister came out and said that he was looking at some sort of support. That was 2 weeks ago. The people in my community don't have 2 weeks. The energy sector doesn't have another 2 weeks. And worse, what I'm hearing from colleagues, this is what I'm hearing from the scuttlebutt, is that your cabinet is actually saying things like, we should just let it die. We should just let this resource go away. That is the most arrogant, anti-Canadian position that I've ever heard. I mean, can you imagine if I said we should shut down an industry in your riding in Montreal? Can you imagine that? You would be outraged. So how do you think I feel as a representative on behalf of people that have lost their jobs because you've done this? How can you even let those rumors persist? Why aren't you saying anything in your daily briefings about what you're doing about one of the most emergent economic crises facing our country right now? And worse, if you don't give that support, you're giving billions of dollars to everything else. If you don't give that support, outside of the workers, we've lost a strategic asset for this country. We are going to lose the capacity for energy security and energy independence. I know you probably don't know much about oil sands production, but a majority of the oil sands production that happens in my province is through a process called in situ production. And there has to be a certain minimum level of production that happens on any play so that it stays viable in the long term. And we've got a big problem with pricing right now, right? We're producing at a loss. And if we don't have some sort of help from the federal government in this time of crisis, we could be in a situation where we're losing that asset permanently. And that's crazy. The other thing that I want to appeal to you and to your cabinet about is that my province, my industry, the people of my community have been proud to support the economy of Canada and government revenues for years. And what's happening today? You're turning your back on us. when I see your environment minister, Catherine McKenna, or whatever she is, you let her post this tweet without any sort of consequence. And it said essentially, this is a good time for us to transition to meaningful jobs, implying that the people in my community are in meaningless jobs because they proudly supply energy for our country. They proudly work to supply, the billions of dollars of revenue that you've spent, not in our communities. This is why I wrote the Buffalo Declaration. This is why my colleagues helped me get that together and put it forward, because we don't know what else to say or do to you. You're abandoning us. You need to come forward. You need to show a leadership moment and show that you care about the entire country. And you need to march into your cabinet and say, we are protecting this asset and we are treating every Canadian equally. That's what you need to do in this moment. You can't let us suffer. Every day that goes by without you responding to the requests of Premier Kenney, industry leaders, people in my community, is another day that we are unduly suffering. And the ball is in your court. You can do this. You need to show leadership, and you need to show that you actually understand that the Canadian economy needs this asset for so many different reasons, and that the people in my community who derive their livelihood, and across the country, it's not just my riding, people across the country derive their livelihoods from this. You have to support this. Stop delaying. We know what's going on. We know your cabinet, these Greenpeace activists that you've put around the table, that they're saying that we shouldn't do anything, or that you should just let it die. It's not lost on me that there is absolutely no one from my part of the country who is giving you advice on this. You're not listening to anybody who has skin in the game. And you guys are all just thinking about your political fortunes. So that's what it appears to us anyways, what gig is going to be after your election. And we're all sitting here stuck to suffer because of your decisions. So you left us, you and your government left us in a position where we weren't able to weather this storm. Okay? That means you need to step in and you need to show some leadership, and you need to do your job and stand up for every part of the country. And that means mine. Nothing less will do. So get on with it. I want to see something by the end of the day today. I want you talking about this in your press conference this morning. I want you coming out and saying, to the people of Alberta, I'm sorry for forgetting to mention you at a Canada Day celebration. And I know you're going through a bad time right now. Here is what I am doing to support the energy industry. You need to do that. You need to give us some hope. You're the Prime Minister of Canada for now. Act like it. Working hard for you. Have a great day.